We're down to 4, Chad. We're getting close. College football semifinals coming at us hot. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.
Well, the good news is we get a new intro.
Yeah, who's that? Is that Lane? That wasn't Lane Kiffin.
That was not Lane Kiffin.
Anyway, welcome back to the South End Zone. My name is Tyler, joined always by my good friend Chad. I know you have a lot to say. Yes. Hey, guess what? I still get to have this. Anyway, welcome back to the South End Zone. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm sure y'all have a lot to say to me.
I got 3 of those. That's one thing I'll say.
We're moving on. Listen, we lost. I get it. We had 4 teams. Let's talk about the 4 teams that did win last week and get to now play again this week.
Yeah, and let's talk about
the
how
college football semifinal. Yes, I also get that Carson Beck is playing. Whatever. I get it. He's also the reason they lose. Just saying. Anyway, let's
we can also talk about how it's going to be OleMiss versus Oregon in the final.
Oh
no! I don't know. I'm saying, don't be surprised.
What a uniform matchup that will be.
Let's talk about what the actual field looks like now, because we had we went through it. We had our recap episode. So now our matchups are Indiana, Oregon, a Big Ten showdown, and then not Ohio State, but Miami, and not Georgia, but Ole Miss in the other semifinal matchup. So let's get to the breakdown of that first matchup. Oregon and Indiana. Indiana favored by 4. With the way that they've been playing, you might tend to think that's a tight spread for this matchup. But I'm here to tell you, I think Oregon is legit and could be right there with them.
You know what's crazy is that earlier this season, this was a 6.5 point spread in favor of Oregon when they played in Eugene.
Yeah.
Like it was literally a touchdown game, like favorite, and Indiana whooped them. But Indiana was pure domination, and it was just like Oregon turning the ball over at the worst possible times that first time around. I think that Oregon has come a long way from the game with Iowa in the rain. I think that they've shown they're proven to be here. Just Indiana seems like a freight train running downhill, man. And Chris Netti with his people's eyebrow is really just right. I think he's locked and loaded, man.
I get it, but I honestly thought the same thing about Georgia and Ole Miss. And I thought, like, the way that Georgia's defense was playing and the way that they were actually starting to do some things offensively, where they put Alabama in a blender after Alabama had beaten them earlier on in the season. Tis the season for you can't beat somebody twice. I would not be surprised at all. Now let's get into the matchup itself. You've got like a good on good when you're talking about run defense and run offense. Like Indiana and Oregon, both in the top 20 running the ball as a team, and they're played in the same conference. So these metrics kind of match up. They make sense. They played very similar schedules. Oregon didn't have that matchup with Ohio State, but they did. They did have the Penn State matchup, which I guess Indiana had as well. I want to say that Oregon played somebody else that was decent. But anyway, Oregon comes into this with the number 22 run defense. Not great, but their pass defense is second in the country. Indiana has the third best. What's that? Yeah, USC. Yeah, Indiana has the third best run defense and the 21st best pass defense. So this is one of those things where it's just like, again, we're at this, who is going to be able to move the ball better? Who's going to make plays? Who's going to not turn the ball over? This is going to be just like a really 4 might be too big of a spread. I think this is going to be like a bare knuckle brawl. These two teams both, these passing offense numbers almost belie how effective and efficient they are in the passing game, because this is just like on a total yardage metric. But if you look at it, when they need to make throws, when they need to convert a third down, when they need a big play to get when they take a shot downfield, they're both capable of scoring from anywhere on the field. They're capable of converting on third downs. Both teams do a really good job of getting off the field on third downs. You saw how Oregon's defense played against Texas Tech. Texas Tech offense that was averaging 40 points a game, and Oregon just said, no, you don't. You average 0 points a game. And look, Indiana did what they did to Alabama, but tell me what massive flaws we all thought Texas Tech had in their game going into this playoff. They didn't have massive flaws. They were actually very similar to Indiana in like their team construction, a lot of transfer guys, a lot of older guys. Their roster is built very similar to Indiana's. And Oregon just said, shut the hell up and put them down. And Indiana took an Alabama team that, let's face it, they had that run in the middle of the season where they beat you guys in Athens, and they went on that run beating Missouri and Vanderbilt and beat us and a handful of others, South Carolina and a couple others. But then you could always see they had this little chink in their armor. They had that early season loss to Florida State to start the season off, right? Couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run. When they had trouble, they couldn't run the ball, they couldn't stop the run. When they played you guys again in the SEC Championship, couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run. What happened to them when they played Indiana? They couldn't run the ball, they couldn't stop the run. And Indiana just beat them down because they took advantage of a team that had glaring flaws that could be exploited, and they just went at them and bled them out. Oregon took a team that looked like they didn't have real flaws and made them look like they didn't belong in the tournament. So I don't know. I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised if Oregon actually takes this one.
Listen, this is a great matchup. Like, if all the rematches that like we wanted to see when it came to this tournament, this is definitely we want to see the most because like Indiana, sure. like Indiana's this is like the first stamp on their card for this season when they went into Eugene and beat Oregon. And so now you get them at a neutral site. This is the what? This is not the Fiesta Bowl. They're playing the Mercedes-Benz, I think, actually.
Yeah,
this one that's the Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl.
We're not going to be there. That's weird. It's going to be a game in Atlanta that we're not in. Very odd. And so, yeah, I mean, listen, you want to talk about – I just love – you're going to have two head coaches that coach with such passion and fire and such like, yo, fuck you, other team over there. We're gonna take it to you. And I'm just like very, very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a great game. And I think that because of a 12-team playoff, we can say that whoever wins this game is going to deserve to be the Natty. Like that's just like there's no frauds in these four teams.
No, for sure. And I think awesome. You can say that like you say what you want to say about Alabama, but like I think fraud is maybe a little bit much. They did go to the SEC championship. They did beat you guys earlier in the year. It's not like they had no resume to justify being there. They just didn't have enough to get it done, and it especially worked out where the matchup was just terrible for them and for what they do well and what Indiana does well and what they do poorly and what Indiana just exploits you for doing poorly. I will say this though. So I think Texas Tech is the only team this year that beat somebody twice. They beat BYU twice. Alabama beat you guys, then lost to you guys. Alabama lost to Oklahoma, then beat Oklahoma.
We beat Ole Miss and lost.
You beat Ole Miss and then lost to Ole Miss. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if Oregon took the only team that did it and beat them. So maybe they're.
And then Oregon had it last year where they beat Ohio State and Eugene. They lost to Ohio State in the playoffs.
Lost. That's right. It is hard to do twice. Yes. And there's a reason for that because unless it's something where you're playing in the NFL where you have to play a team twice and they're just terrible and you're great, then it's easy to beat them twice. But generally speaking, when we're talking about college football, the only way you play somebody twice is if they're good enough to get to a championship level game. That's how you play them twice. So The one that will not feature a rematch
Oh,
is
this
this
is-
Ole Miss Miami game. This is the Fiesta Bowl, and I like this one is one of those where everything
6-10 semi, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, everything that makes sense just says you've got to go with Miami. You've got to go with Miami.
Right.
You've got to go with Miami. Ruben Bain, Hakeem Mesidor, that secondary, the linebacker, the secondary that I think people think can be exploited, but they showed like they have enough to take Ohio State's receivers out of the game. Jeremiah Smith did everything he could, trying to put the team on his back, still wasn't enough against this Miami team. Carson Beck, when he's on, is finding his receivers, and look, that offensive line is protecting well. They're running the ball really well with whether it's Fletcher or any of the other guys. They've got dudes, and I don't know. I take all those sensible things that I would say that says Miami should win this game, and I just go because Trinidad Chambliss is on the other side, and you can have the entire Miami defensive line and all of their linebackers in the backfield and have him in a phone booth, and somehow Superman will just take off flying somewhere, and he'll find whether it's Kewan Lacey or any of those receivers, Harrison or whoever downfield. It's just I've never seen anything like that since like the Michael Vick, Johnny Manziel days.
Yeah, he just run around and finding someone. It's just like it still is unbelievable to watch. You know, I've had plenty of time to digest at this point, but it's still like putting the team on your back in a way that you're right. Like you just don't see that nowadays. It's like truly just willing your team. We had him down 21-12.
Yep.
Going in half, and they were in a blender. And he just brought him out of the depths, man. And so I'm very excited for this. I'm of the two very much looking. There's a lot for me involved in this game. Putting it lightly. There's a lot for me. Is it the team that beat us inexplicably? Not inexplicably. Is it the team that crushed my heart in just the worst way possible? Yeah. Or is it my former quarterback?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like, so the other part of it is because of Lane Kiffin's makeup, I don't think Les Miles would have this thing where if something like this were to happen, it would almost like psychologically like put him in the mental fetal position where he would just be like, oh my God, I hope they don't win. If they win, it's going to make me look bad. Lane Kiffin is like, man, I hope they do win. I hope they win the whole thing. That's my team
every time they win. So
right, I'm getting paid every time they win. That's my team that I built, and I think that if they do win it, it's just going to make the rivalry between LSU and Ole Miss even more intense. And it's funny because we talked about when the schedule came out with the new permanent rivals and all that stuff in the SEC and the nine game schedule. We talked about LSU and Ole Miss not having about LSU and Ole Miss having that natural rivalry that realistically, like, because I have a lot of guys that I work with and everything that are Ole Miss fans, and they even talk about it like they kind of look at Mississippi State as like little brother and not really their rival,
right?
And they see us as their rival, like their more direct rival, and like I think we kind of look at them similarly, where it's like, yeah, that's cute, like there was an intense rivalry in the 50s and 60s because both teams were kind of equals, and we won a national championship in 58. They won one, I think, 60 or 61 under Johnny Vaught. And they haven't won one since. But they hated us. We hated them. Billy Cannon had his famous, kick punt return for a touchdown to beat them like 7-3 or something like that on Halloween night. Won the Heisman Trophy on the heels of that. We won a national championship on the heels of that. All of these things have fueled this rivalry for a while now has been pretty one-sided in our favor. And usually what they did, if they did anything, was just kind of play spoiler for us, where we'd have a really good year and they might upset us, but it wasn't a real, one-to-one rivalry. It has a chance to really come back if they win the whole thing. And then Lane Kiffin goes into Oxford next year and they're hanging a banner. They probably would wait until we go there to hang the banner.
Yeah.
Just to rub it in his face.
Oh, this game though. Talk about like seeing the U, that famous Miami U, like in a position like this, and seeing Michael Irvin. I don't ever accuse anyone of anything. I don't know if it's TRT, cocaine, both. I don't know, but he is something.
on one.
He is on a roll to see on the sidelines. You got Ray Lewis out there now. I just feel like they're going to just keep adding more and more dudes to the sidelines until you have Jimmy Johnson, like the entire team, just chilling on the sidelines.
We talked about it before at the beginning of the season. It's good for college football.
Yeah,
for Miami and Florida State and Notre
1,000%.
Dame and Nebraska and Ohio State and Michigan
and Wisconsin and
to
West
be
Virginia.
good.
And
we want these teams to be good because it makes it more. It's more fun. It's more meaningful. And Alabama, Georgia, LSU, like all that too. Yeah, for sure.
But it's all of the other teams that have been historically good, like Miami, to win the Natty in 01 and to be, considered one of the greatest. I said one of.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the greatest college football teams of all time, personnel wise.
Yeah.
And so for them to bring it with Carson Beck, Timmy from South Park, Sid the Sloth as their quarterback. He's taking care of business, and they got weapons on both sides of the ball. And you got Pete Golding just taking care of business, and you got Charlie Weiss Jr. with that offense. And for now, and this game is going to. I don't know, like any thousand. There's either Trinidad Chambliss gets overwhelmed, not very likely. Trinidad Chambliss shows up a Superman, pretty likely. Carson Beck doesn't shit his pants. Who knows?
Right.
Carson Beck, does shit his pants. You never know how this game. There are a lot of variables to this game, but I think 3.5 is where the number should be. I would lean in the over if I had to guess because Miami can put you in a phone booth, put you in a blender, or all of a sudden we're just trading touchdowns back and forth because it's the run they stop so well. Okay, take Kewan Lacey out of it. That's hard to do alone. And you have Trinidad Chambliss is not going to crumble in the pocket like Sam did last week. That's the biggest difference. And I feel like people are just going to assume
there's no pocket. That's the problem. Ain't no pocket. There's no pocket with Trinidad Chambliss.
It's as long as he's in the field of play, we're good.
His ass is teleporting all over the field.
We're going to run this way, and we're going to run that way, and we're going to run this way, and first down.
And he's doing it like Batman too, where he's like throwing these little smoke clouds as he leaves, and you're just like grasping at dust. Yeah, it's like, where'd he go? He's over there. Get him! They already threw the ball, coach.
It's like, I couldn't even believe what I was watching. You just see he threw the ball and first down. All right, cool.
Bro, he was throwing dots too. He's like on the run against his body, like rolling left, throwing right. And just dime to Kewan Lacey.
Yeah, that was you're right. That was some Johnny Manziel type. Mike Evans is down there somewhere. Ryan Swope's down there somewhere.
Bro, I was comparing him to like Fran Tarkenton and shit. He was like just those old videos that you see of Fran Tarkenton. He's just like running around in circles in the backfield, just like breaking tackles and everything. Yeah. And then he just launches it. And there's a guy wide open because who can cover anybody for that long? And you're like, I thought they sacked him already 3 times. What the hell happened? Yeah, dude. So that's how it is.
College football is coming to a close very fast, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2026, and we appreciate y'all sticking with us this long. This has been the South End Zone. We got 2 great games. We'll have our national championship participants after this week.
That's right.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all for the recap. Peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen. Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.